Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 267 of At Odds with Wrestling. Joe and Adam here. Adam, hello. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm cold. I refuse to turn the heat on, but other than that, I'm fine.
My heat's been on for like a month.
Oh, see, I can only turn it on in the bedroom just so I don't, die. But the rest of the house, it's jacket weather in my living room.
See, I like sleeping when it's cold. I got no problem with that. Like, even though we have the heat on, my wife has, 2 blankets on while she sleeps, and I'd, have just a sheet, maybe, right?
That's why you're sick all the time, Joe.
Yeah, I'm sick all the time.
You're in a constant state of being a sickly boy.
I will say, though, obviously when we turn the heat on, and it's been this way, for the last couple of weeks, because we have the heat just sitting, and, we don't get into, the fucking duct work and the vents and everything and, dust all that shit out.
Mm.
But turning on the heat kicks up all that dust in the house, and then I'm just, my kid's coughing, I could feel my, asthma kicking in,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. So that's it. But it was a nice day. Got the weather's, and again, I'm making now a concerted effort going into 2024 that my New Year's resolution is adding to the list of my pet peeves of shit I'll never do is talk about the weather on any podcast I'm on.
Okay. So
I'm done.
Yeah, you're going to add it to the list. That way you won't do it, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, I'm interested to see how long that lasts.
All right. Well, listen, I'm gonna. If I have to print out the list and redo a whole segment on these shows about the list and the updated things and relitigate some of these things.
Yeah. I feel you need to go over the list again with Todd because I feel like that's more at risk of coming up on After Dark.
Gotcha. Well, After Dark we talk about food now. It's the food show.
That's true. Get a cease and desist from Doug from Wings on Wings if you keep talking about food.
No, it'll be okay. Doug's got other things to
litigate.
To keep himself busy with. Excuse me.
Yeah. Well, Joe, we promised, I will just say up front, we promised a couple big announcements for this show. So I'm going to break the news right here and now. Next week, we will be recording on time on Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be taking a show off. I have not done that in a couple of years, but we are joined once again by our pals Brett and DJ for a We Need At Odds Super Show.
Yay!
Yeah, looking forward to that. And also, I hope everybody has done their homework as Joe requested and went and listened or re-listened to last week's Final Wrestling Place because later in the show, we have a big announcement as far as who the next Conversations with Joe guest will be. So you got to listen to the show. We're going to randomly insert it later.
Yeah, and homework's back as well. So I might have loose lips on the Patreon show about some other stuff. I don't know. And also, I was already requested by Scott, our previous guest on Conversation with Joe. What the hell time did he text me today? It was at 5 o'clock, or it was 4:30, and he's send me the fucking review of the show from homework. I go, we didn't even record it yet. So,
well, tell him it'll be in his Patreon inbox tonight around midnight.
Exactly. I said, it's probably not. I go, it's not going to be up until later tonight.
Yeah. I got to edit it, all that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Post production, I put those through,
Exactly.
In there. So, all right, big show, Joe.
All right, got lots of stuff to get into. Hope you like clips, motherfucker.
I love clips.
And now, At Odds with Wrestling presents This Day in Wrestling History.
I just got my email that the Zombie Sailor, Broski, and Nick Gage are available for pre-order.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's more expensive this time. If they gave...
If there was a discount?
Cheaper, yeah. I doubt it,
I doubt it as well.
I can't wait until I get it so I can post my picture saying, thank you, Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for taking my money and holding on to it for 6 months and then being mean if I had questions.
6 months?
You, Zombie. Well, I don't know. Whenever it's going to take to come out.
What world you're living in. 6 months.
Hey, I just hit the 11-month anniversary of pre-ordering the Gargano, but that's for a segment later in the show.
I have all heat, no heaters loaded up if you need it. So there's a bunch of stuff that happened in this day in wrestling history. I'm not covering everything. We're going to cover the juicy stuff this week, the meaty stuff, the good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So head-to-head Monday Nitro and Monday Night Raw 25 years ago. Nitro has stuff going on. You know, the big centerpiece angle, of course, is Hulk Hogan's running for president. Barry Windham shows up, released from his World Wrestling Entertainment contract. Bam Bam Bigelow shows up, released from his ECW contract.
All the stars are here.
But this is finally something that's really starting to filter in over on Nitro, and it's going to become a bigger piece as we roll into 1999. So we really, and a lot of it's been on Thunder, you know, but we really need to focus on this here because our good friend Todd has already gotten mentioned twice on the show, and that'll be the last time. And that's going on my list as well. I'm not mentioning Todd on this show anymore, 2024.
I can get behind that rule.
So Todd likes to rib us and say, or rib me, and say that Raven is sad Scotty Flamingo. Mm-hmm. Well, what do you do when sad Scotty Flamingo, Adam, is also sad?
Take a look at Wrath. Here's a man that's getting more impressive week by week.
So this is off the network.
Well, Wrath
and the fact that they edited the WWF music for WCW Raven. But look at Scott.
The most talked about candidate.
Looking good.
Okay, so
election,
he looks
Hollywood
super hot
Hogan
here.
Has arrived. We also understand
on Canyon's with him, also looking not super hot, but he's oiled up, so that's all.
As well, Bret Hart will
I don't cut him so short. You
a member of the Horsemen, and Chris Jericho defends the TV belt.
Not wearing a shirt, Raven.
Second generation up and coming star.
Wiping his eyes. He's wearing actual jeans instead of like his cut-offs, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it's just so
feeling good, looking good.
With the ups and downs, his emotional
a multi-person sign for Raven.
Ride. Some days he's interested in wrestling, other days he really isn't. You know, Saturn has divulged recently that his family has a history of mental illness, and maybe he needs psychological help.
Maybe, I think it's pretty well known he does. We knew that when he first arrived at WCW. And now his spiral downward has caused this. Flockless.
Isn't... Oh, listen to these people. Don't they know he's going through a lot right now?
Very unsupportive.
Boots aren't even tied.
Mickey J imploring him to get on here.
When I was a child...
No sympathy.
They don't really care about your childhood, as you can hear.
Just like Judy Bagwell, my mom used to tell me where to go, what to do, and when to do it.
Would you bring Judy up in this?
I'm an adult now, and WCW is not going to tell me when to wrestle, or who I have to wrestle, or how I have to do it. So you can just have this match without me. Quote the Raven, nevermore.
Refusing to perform. Refusing to wrestle.
Doing the arm thing like he's like jonesing for heroin.
What are you doing? What's wrong with you? Please, I'm begging you. Nobody in WCW gets more airtime without wrestling than you. So I'm begging you, please wrestle this match.
Sorry, Canyon, that's a lie.
Snap out of it, Raven.
I argue he doesn't get enough airtime.
Raven, come on, I'm begging to wrestle. Well, I'll tell you what, Raven. If you're not going to wrestle this match, well, then I'm going to get my shtick in. More bogey time for me.
Canyon's such a cornball. I love it. We're gonna do Canyon shtick here as well.
And Wrath wants Raven.
You just can't predict Raven's mindset from week to week.
As you know, Canyon is keeping it real in the 90s, and he's doing it with the question. So even though I'm supposed to wrestle Glacier in the next segment, since Raven took it upon himself to decide he's not going to wrestle, well, then I'm going to get the question in. So what I have to ask,
right, everybody,
all you world-class Wichita wussies is...
No. Nobody.
No.
Oh, cheap shot.
A
Dastardly.
Pearl Harbor shot there, a bunch of horse shit. But this is the build to all that Raven stuff that I love so much. As much as I love the Raven ECW stuff, like this goofy shit is so much better.
Yeah, and it's like their commentary's being mean to poor Raven. Like mental health is important. We need to take more care of ourselves, and like people should stop. Like maybe instead of quote the Raven, it should have just been like, how's the Raven? Like, are you okay? Like,
Right.
We shouldn't have been sweeping this under the rug. We should have seen what was wrong with him.
I agree. So over on the other channel, over on Monday Night Raw, we're the night after Survivor Series Deadly Game. Again, we get the big homage to the Montreal Screwjob. Never before, never again will they reference back to that moment in time, right?
Yeah, can't go to the well too often, you know?
Right. And then this Raw, it's the big reveal. They lay out the master plan. Austin comes in, and he's got an injunction from Judge Mills Lane, so you could pinpoint exactly when in 1998 this is going on. They do Rock versus Austin as the main event of Raw, and people are going out of their goddamn mind. But we're not going to play any of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
As crazy as that is, and again, this is how jam-packed Raw is during this time. Here's another thing that happens on this episode of Monday Night Raw, okay?
All right.
Come on, work, damn you.
No trying.
It's thinking.
This is going great.
Shh.
WWF title. There's a cover. It'll be live, and there's Hawk right there.
Oh, what's that?
Hey, it's Hawk with a full head of hair.
And street clothes.
Hawk is here. Powerbomb by Animal on Edge.
Just checking out the rigging of the Titan.
He's climbing up on the edge of the Titantron. I have no idea what Hawk is doing. That Titantron is about, I don't know, 100 feet off the floor. What is he doing? Probably.
What is he doing up there?
Get inside the
Draws him.
Get it.
Is this guy messed up again tonight? I don't know. What kind of shape is he in? You gotta wonder. You always wonder. Unfortunately, for this type of condition, what kind of mental and physical state Hawk could be in. My God, that's a little dangerous up there, King. A little.
So Legion of Doom are counted out.
Draws in an Animal been counted out, but look, this is not good. Hawk is up there. Folks, he's up there without a neck. Oh, my God. I don't like this.
Okay, now we're going to continue this. But I want to point out, somebody else mentioned this on Twitter today. How fucking irresponsible of WWF was them to let Hawk and Shortly Draws just climb up the Titantron with, like, no supports, no harness, no nothing. Like, obviously, we're going to get to the moment at the end of this, but, like, what if they fell, like, halfway up? That's still a long way down.
Well, is there like I know how this ends. Like, there's not like a pad on the outside or anything, is there?
No.
Maybe it's one of those collapsible, like it looks like it's solid, but it's just a bunch of cardboard boxes, you know?
No, that's an AEW thing.
Okay. Then I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of stupid. I wouldn't want to climb that even if I wasn't doing a spot.
This wrestling business ain't worth this. Live with this. No, calm down. Calm down. Go out in glory. Be careful. Calm down.
It's a bad situation, JR. Folks, 911 has been called. Apparently, Hawk has threatened to jump.
He's misleading you. You don't know. Calm down. Be careful up there.
Look at this. There's
I'm gonna jump.
Paul Ellering.
Hawk, I wish I could say I know how you feel, but I can't. What I do know, Hawk, is that you're a troubled spirit. I know that, Hawk, and I also know that right now you don't care very much about your life, but I care about your life. My family cares about your life. About my life.
That's some good drunk acting there by Hawk.
Call you Uncle.
Very convincing.
Ellering was Hawk and Animal's first manager.
Listen to me,
15 years ago.
Remember when you, Animal, and I would drive down the highway and you told us the story of your mother 6 months before she died, Hawk? You knew about it.
and she knew about it. And every day she told you there were things would always work out. You have to draw on that, Hawk. You have to draw on that now. Hawk, you're not alone. There are everybody in this world has failed, Hawk. You're not alone. You are the beginning of my end. Hawk, please, come down here. I promise you, Hawk. Animal. We'll take it. We'll take it one minute at a time. And I can't. We'll take it 1 hour at a time. You stay down for me. Don't you ever come up.
All right, Draws is climbing up now.
Be careful up there.
The top of the Titantron's mic'd very well.
Oh, what? It hasn't been our best year, so what? There's always next year. Don't worry about it. Keep him away. Take it easy.
This is not good.
Take it easy up there. Get up. Hey, get the hell away from me. You're the last person I want up here. Get away. It's all right, brother. Oh, come on now. Be careful up there.
And that thing is shaky.
Yeah. He's just holding on to like a random cable.
Yes.
Don't move. You've been my brother for so long. Don't move. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't move.
Get a shirt. No. Oh,
what?
That was a push.
God almighty. Good God. Oh, my God.
Now, again, the subtlety of this angle, of course, that we'll find out later, is that Draws was pushing drugs on Hawk, that he was the pusher man in all of this. The subtlety of this, right?
Yeah, it's that subtle. All right.
So, again, we have the Rock and Austin stuff. We have the big reveal. We have this. And you would think that this would be enough for a jam-packed Raw, Adam. But also on this episode of Raw, we get this moment.
I'm going to give you a choice tonight. You have your choice of either fighting me, knowing I'm going to kick your ass.
He's talking to a real man's man, Steven Regal here.
Or, this is the part you want to listen to, feast your eyes on these Wildcats.
Whoa! No! Oh, don't do it.
What a freeing pack.
Again, if you haven't seen the video of this again. Regal's selling it, of course.
How about a vaccination?
Oh, Motel 6!
Now hold up, baby girl. We ain't closed no deals yet, okay? Or, here's the good part. I'm going to do something that I normally don't do. I'm doing this for the working man, if you will. I'm going to give you all 3 of these hoes for free for the whole night.
Take it! Take it!
All 3 of them. All 3 of them. No. Go on, turn around. Oh, Lord. Well, now, come on, what you think, man? Come on. Look at that. You know a working man don't get nothing like that.
Easy, King. At least he's not settling by the pound.
Now, normally, there's nothing I'd like more than to kick your head in. But I may be from England, but the last time I checked, my name's Steven Regal, not Elton John, so I'll take the Broads.
That's a smart move! Well, the man's man is a thinking man's man, apparently. At least in the
All right, so 2 things come out of this segment, right?
All right.
One, this is probably like the last hurrah for William Regal, Steven Regal, the Real's man, right?
He's too dehydrated to go on.
And I think this may have been either the last or very close to the last time that they stopped. They vetted the girls from the local gentleman's establishments a little bit better.
I was going to say, any idea where this was, where this Raw emanated from? Because
notes. Hang on. This is from Lexington, Kentucky.
Well, that explains a lot. All right.
All right.
Kentucky not known for its high-end hose.
All right. Now, I said I'm not going to play all the Austin and Rock and McMahon stuff that happened 25 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
27 years ago, I really want to play all the Taz stuff that happened at November to Remember. I'll just say 95, November to Remember, Taz comes back from the injury. He does the heel turn, and for 1 year, him and Sabu are kept apart, and this is the November to Remember where they announce the pay-per-view unofficially.
Okay.
He calls out Sabu. They do the lights on, lights off gimmick with the two of them standing in the ring together. They're about to rush at each other, and the lights go out again, and they're both gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as big as a moment as that was that happened 27 years ago today, there was a bigger moment that happened at this November to Remember, Adam.
Even bigger than Taz Sabu. All right.
Yes.
Davey Morton, Tyler Jericho set to go one-on-one with Stevie Richards, but that's not Stevie's music. What the hell is this? The BWO?
Hey, there's that guy that Brian Pillman beat up.
I don't believe what I'm seeing. Blue World Order?
Instantly over.
Oh, unreal.
Yeah.
Like, Stevie was already teeter on being a face from earlier in the year, 96, the match that he had with Sabu. But, like, if this doesn't cinch it...
Who's that blue guy?
And that's a chicken bone in his mouth.
You got smart Mark Gary, you got
Well,
that.
you know something, dude. Let me tell you, brother. Ever since me and the big guy and the extra big guy been here in the ECW, dude, it's all been going down, brother. So now we're not taking it anymore, dude. So what you gonna do, daddy, with the BWO Rumble on you?
Hollywood Nova?
Nova looking Jack McCann. Like it.
This must be Big Stevie Cool.
Poor Meanie.
Look at him.
Right now, I'd like to start off with 3 simple words. We're taking over!
God help us.
I so wanted him to be world champ coming out of Barely Legal. I was mad at that punk guy for so long.
Dude, we talked about this, haven't we?
Yeah, no, we definitely have. I'm just saying it again.
Yeah. He was supposed to get the TV title.
Yeah. No, I know. I was watching that match and it's like, oh man, it's his time. I love him.
Yeah. Dude, I was a Stevie, like, as much as I loved Raven, like, I loved Stevie too. And, like, I like to see the two of them. And, like, this was the beginning of, like, the face turn. You know, they do a match later on the show where, like, Stevie does live over the house mic commentary for the thing.
Mm.
And, like, he's really good at it. And, like, this is the thing that gets Stevie signed by WCW. And, like, it's a whole bit, like, it's crazy, like, Stevie's run, like, over the next year from, like, November 96 to November 97. Like, it's just so crazy. And it all starts here with this BWO stuff. And the other thing I'm going to point out, so, like, they come out with the airbrush shirts, right? Yeah. And they have, like, legitimate BWO shirts in, like, 3 months, okay?
Yeah, the blue one.
Was that?
I was going to say the blue shirts with the white font.
Yeah, like merch shirts, right?
Yep. I still have.
How long did it take from Jericho wearing his airbrush Monday Night Jericho shirt to them actually selling Monday Night Jericho shirts, merch shirts? I think it was like 8 months, right?
Yeah.
So to see the fact that WCW was just like, letting it go, right? And ECW is like, this is instantly over. We need to work on shirts. We need to work on designs. We need to get this done ASAP, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of shocking that you're telling me it took 3 months. You know, I would have think that they could have, like, what took so goddamn long? It's not like they had to hire a graphic designer to come up with the unique new logo.
It wasn't like, it wasn't as quick and easy as a flip and turnaround as things are these days, even, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
But that's the thing, like, during the year, they were just doing, like, these one-offs, you know? And they do this, like, 1 or 2 times, and, like, every time they do it, it's, like, more over and more over and more over. And it's like, all right, we'll get the shirts, right? But we got one more. Go watch the Taz stuff from this. It's really good. You know, listen. We can't just play all fucking clips on this show. I wanna, but we can't, right?
Yeah.
All right. So on this day in wrestling history, Adam, 31 years ago, if everyone wants to feel like super old.
I was barely alive. Go ahead.
31 years ago. We're heading into Survivor Series 1992. It's been built up. Razor Ramon and Ric Flair are going to take on the Ultimate Maniacs. Macho Man Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior. And just this past weekend was a Saturday Night's Main Event where we saw the Ultimate Maniacs take on the Money Incorporated. And at the end of the show, Bobby Heenan tells us that he's got information that Warrior's gone from the WWF. Now, this is what's being portrayed on TV. Little do we know that Warrior's been gone for like 2 weeks now for stooging himself off to Vince, that he was having steroids shipped to his driver's house.
I see nothing wrong with that.
And the feds or whomever got the steroids, so just an empty package was delivered. So Warrior goes, hey, Vince, just so you know, I need to let you know, I ordered some steroids for me and Davey Boy. But I guess the Postal Service, the government got it, and they delivered an empty package. I'm doing my due diligence. I'm letting you know. And Vince is like, well, goddamn, pal, you know, we're trying to skirt this sort of thing. And the fact that, like, you're trying to do it and you got caught and you're sending it to your driver's house, you and Davey Boy are fired.
Oh, what did Davey Boy do?
Well, the steroids were for Warrior Davey Boy.
Are you telling me Davey Boy Smith was on the juice
during this time? Yes.
I find that very hard to believe, but
Vince tells Warrior that he's fired, and Warrior said this to him:
steroids are awesome. I don't care what anybody says.
But they're now out of a main event. Survivor Series is this upcoming Wednesday. It's the Thanksgiving Eve night tradition. Adam, what are they going to do? Last minute, seat of their pants booking. How are we going to book together a new main event? Well, we're not going to play all of it, but here's that moment from Primetime Wrestling.
This man knows more about Ric Flair personally. He knows more about him in the ring. He knows everything there is about Ric Flair.
Mr. Perfect, he can't even talk right now because he's nervous, because he knows that you could do the thing.
Well, he's guided him to the championship twice. Of course you'd want him.
Mr. Perfect, they've been holding you back. You were... Hey, listen, I admired your wrestling ability, even though I don't like you. I think that you were one of the greatest in the World Wrestling Federation that ever was. Did you hear me? I'm complimenting you.
Macho. Think about what you're saying, brother. Think about it.
I thought about it for 24 hours, night and day. Yeah. That's okay. You can refuse
Definitely
me right
didn't
now. And then it makes me look a little bit bad.
Hey, it's 92. Macho wasn't sleeping much anyway.
Yeah.
If you haven't got what it takes, Mr. Perfect, just tell the whole zillions of people all around the world that you can't handle what I'm...
Well, nonetheless, Macho Man, I admire your choice, and you said. And he knows he's under contract. You'd have to take a chance, but
I'm not an attorney.
Hey, it makes sense to me that if anyone knew Ric Flair better than he does, it's got to be Mr. Perfect.
That's what I said.
Wait a minute. You mean I'm just learning now that Macho Man Randy Savage isn't an attorney? Okay. All right.
Shocking.
Yeah, he wrestles. He's a manager.
Yeah, no more.
He hasn't been in the ring in a long time. Wouldn't you select Mr. Perfect? Oh, of course I would. I mean, who knows Ric Flair better? That's the natural thing to select.
Gut check.
But you've only got 24 hours. Strike one against you, pal.
Was that
now,
right?
give me the
Mr.
next
Perfect,
strike.
you tell me, is that strike one?
How about getting a little midget that yells, the plane, boss? Same thing.
Well, in any event, right now, let's take you to tag team action. We will follow the story as we proceed here on Prime Time. Let's take you to tag team action with High Energy squaring off against the Beverly Brothers. Stay with us, Macho Man. And during these last several matches and the breaks, we've had a pretty interesting discussion about Macho Man's proposal. It seems to me that he might be making out of the frying pan into the fire. A little bit of sense. I don't know.
Why don't you make it a 6-man tag, and I'll team up with Perfect, and he can have 2 managers as his partner.
Well, he does have that idea that nobody knows Flair like Perfect. I'm a wrestler. You call him here. Long distance. Excuse me, please, for Mr. Perfect. Hello.
All right.
London calling.
Tremendous. So the whole thing plays out over the episode of this episode of Primetime Wrestling. Friend of the show, my friend Monsoon Classic, has the whole thing edited together. It's like a 31-minute thing. It's absolutely worth their time to watch it, to see like premier flying by the seat of your pants, last minute Hail Mary booking to pull this off. And they do, man. They pull it off. It's great, right? There's great stuff. I love it. This is my childhood stuff.
100% agree. I've always said, like, I loved Mr. Perfect. I love Bobby Heenan. I was a Warrior mark because I was a kid. I was 12 years old, so I was like, oh, Warrior's gone. And even though I always loved heels, I loved it when the heels turned babyface, if that makes sense. Because it's like, oh, I could justify cheering for you now. So I love the fact that he joins Macho Man.
Right. So I'll include the link to this in the show notes. If you've never seen it before, if you haven't seen it in a long time, it's well worth your time to watch. The whole thing, 31 minutes, beginning to end. And this is like one of the first times Flair's almost done in WWF. And it's crazy to think, like, from this moment, Flair's only in WWF for another 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, Perfect didn't wrestle for very long. Macho was gone relatively soon after that, too, right?
No, Macho's there until the end of 94.
Was he wrestling the whole time? Or is he doing commentary? I'm just thinking of, like, top guys.
Not wrestling on TV. He was doing commentary because Raw starts 93. He does commentary, and then he does, like, the short program at Doink. He's wrestling on house shows. And then at the end of 93 into 94, he does the program at Crush. And then, like, after that, he has, like, 3 or 4 more TV matches after that, and then he's gone.
Yeah, so I'm just basically saying you have, like, who was Flair's partner in this match?
Razor Ramon.
Razor. Okay, so, like, one of those 4 people was a top guy, like, a year later.
Yeah.
In WWE,
Again, it's just the topsy-turvy world. Anything can happen to the World Wrestling Entertainment, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, again, not homework. Go watch this and go watch November to Remember 1996, all the Taz stuff.
Just the Taz cut. It's a special version.
I wish it was. I think it's probably like if you get that episode of like Hardcore TV, they have it all in like whatever would be like that next episode that was after this November to Remember.
Yeah, it's all just the highlights Jones on that,
Yeah. So Adam, let's get into what we watched from this past week, what we want to talk about, what we enjoyed, what we.
Okay. I'm going to start things off if that's okay. Not much.
I was going to start off this time, but okay, you could have it this time.
All right. Well, just because I started. You know what? Honestly, like, not much got my attention that I really wanted to do a deep dive into, but somehow I do have some stuff to talk about. And I think the one big thing was what I was going to initially bury, and that was the main event video game tie-in match from AEW Dynamite this past week, and that was Omega, Jericho, Ibushi, and the Giant versus Powerhouse Hobbs, Takeshita, Brian Cage, and Kyle Fletcher. Sorry.
Come on now.
Because I was like, okay, I don't want to watch this match. And as soon as I saw that, like, there's like what amounts to a bunch of takeout menus displayed around the ring, I was like, I get it. It's not the high art of a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, but I was like expecting more. But I'm like, all right, let's watch it. Let's see what happens. Let's watch Paul White die. Not rooting for his actual shoot death, but we might have got it eventually. He tries to legitimately kill Kyle Fletcher, which was kind of cool, by not choke slamming him off the ground at all, and Fletcher's head hits the one table that doesn't break. So that was cool. Then you got to see Powerhouse Hobbs basically kill Paul White by body slamming him on a car and just watching him slowly slide down to his death. That was fun. Ibushi gets tombstone through a bunch of chairs, and that was sick. And then the thing that was like, I got real cringed about this. I was like, this is stupid. You have Ibushi riding out on a bike, and I get from the video, like the video that's playing up on the Tron, that like I guess there's a lot of bikes in the scenery of this video game. So Ibushi's slowly riding out and just giving everybody the gentlest bonk with a pipe. It was like when you're playing with like your 2-year-old like nephew or something like that. You go bonk, bonk as he's riding around. I'm like, okay, this is stupid. I'm back out on this. And then, Joe, then it happened. They started using the bike as a weapon. And as anybody who's ever taken a metal pedal to the shin knows that there are no soft edges to a goddamn pedal bike. And I forget who it was. Somebody got like suplexed into it. Where's the safety police when you need it? I just saw the most violent match that I had to watch through the cracks of my hands. So the fact that they were killing each other on a bike brought it back around for me. But there was so much up and down in this. I just hope we never see like Paul White wrestle again. Not that you can really call this wrestling, but it was a fun little experiment, and let's call it a day.
So I went into this match with the lowest of low expectations, right?
Yep, same.
I don't give a fuck about any of the Don Callis family stuff. All this stuff is to get him over. It's not gotten a single other person over that's been aligned with him the entire time that they've been doing this. Jericho is beyond washed, like the epitome of a clout vampire. Big Show can't move. His legs are more bowed than Matt Hardy, and it's a goddamn shame, right? So I'm like, what are they like? The reason I watched this match in the first place, I watched Dynamite, right? The only thing I
gonna watch it anyways.
The other thing I skip is Young Buck matches. So Big Show comes out, and he comes out on the stage. I'm like, he ain't coming all the way down the ramp. He's staying up on that stage, right?
Yeah.
And he does a couple of punches, and you mentioned he, so the other thing is they need to stop doing table spots off that side of the ramp. And they always get fucked up. I don't know what it is. Like last week when Hangman went to do the Deadeye to swerve off the ramp to the tables, they kind of went through sideways. There's something about that side of the ramp and table spots is bad luck, right?
Yeah. Or just build a bigger table, like a wider table.
Or something, right?
Yeah.
So then Big Show fights to the back. And I'm like, okay, well, that's it. Big Show's done. He's out. And we'll not see him again. And then it was to set up them, like, getting a bunch of, like, foam core that was higher than the car. Big Show and Hobbs are on top of that. And Hobbs body slams Big Show off of that onto the car. And, like, Big Show lands sideways. And, like, he just had hip replacement surgery. And it looked like the sickest fucking thing in that match. But then, like, 3 more disgusting things happen. As you mentioned, like, they have the chairs set up outside with, like, literally, like, menus on cardboard laid across it. And fucking, they kill Ibushi through that. Ibushi takes a neck bump when he gets clotheslined off the goddamn bike, right? They do the double powerbomb to Kenny to the outside through the tables of the super suplex, whatever the hell it was, right?
Yeah, by Cage, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, everybody came to work. Everybody busted their ass. And, like, even when they're fighting on the concourse, like, Takeshita is, like, climbing on top of drink machines and running across them to dive on Jericho.
How about that lady that works at that booth that refused to abandon her post?
Listen, she's a worker. What can I tell you? But I think they have most of this match, if not all of it, up on AEW's YouTube page. So if you didn't see this, go out of your way. Like, this is a pay-per-view caliber match. There's, like, multiple remember the one where it was the Jericho Appreciation Society against the Dan Lambert Goons?
Yeah.
Like, this is better than that. Like, I could name several multi-man pay-per-view matches that involved Jericho, that this match that was on free TV was better than.
Yeah, and I like, if I'm watching, because you know me, I'm a deathmatch ghoul. If I'm watching some deathmatch promotion, I don't want to see barbed wire, light tubes, tacks anymore. If you bring out a pedal bike, I'll know you're serious. Because I don't want to get slammed on fucking the pedals of a bike. That looks horrifying.
But this was amazing. If you didn't see it, go out of your way and see this as well, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the Bucks got to bring out their working shoes if they're going to top that on Saturday, right? Spoilers that they're involved, but
I have a feeling they're not gonna.
Yeah. All right, what do you got, Joe?
That's it, man. That was my thing I wanted to talk about. I got nothing else.
All right, two quick things. So Tony Khan, and another big announcement, he is going to be signing this Saturday somebody that's respected by all of the AEW fans to a 3-year deal. And Joe, I'm just asking you, please tell me this is not Chris Hero.
It's not Chris Hero.
All right, that's all I wanted to know. That's really all. Now, do you have? I kind of feel bad asking you because you know things, and I don't like it when you know things. But if you don't know things, who do you think it is?
I don't know things. I know it's not Chris Hero. The speculation was, before we started recording, that it was either going to be officially Will Ospreay. Tony was going to put together the $4.5 million per year. The player coach, or it was actually, WWE's offering Will Ospreay $4.5 million a year to be a player coach at NXT, but also to be trained by AJ Styles on how to slow down. Again, it's very confusing what the offer was. So I think Tony came up with the $4.6 million a year. But then there's rumors that it was supposed to be Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone's favorite scuffling hillbilly Sean Ross Sapp came out today and said that it's definitely not Mercedes Moné, right? So I don't know who it's going to be, right?
Yeah, and all the WWE releases, they haven't hit their 90 days yet, if that's still a thing,
But then, technically a guy could opt out of their 90-day if they really wanted to do this. But again, it's signing a fake contract on TV to set up for the real contract thing when 90 days from now. It'll be interesting. It's a hook, to get people to watch. I hope it's Mercedes. They've been flirting with her since before she injured her ankle. She's West Coast based these days. They're out on the West Coast. Kind of makes sense. I know last week on We Need Wrestling, both Brett and DJ really extolled the virtues that Will Ospreay is the wrestler of the year. And again, we watched the last time that we watched and he had the singles match with Kenny. I had no emotional interest in the match, and just the moves and stuff that they were doing in the match really won me over. And I enjoyed the match and I enjoyed the moves, but there's just something about Will Ospreay. I look at him and I'm like, I don't care about him. There's something about him that I have a complete disconnect from him.
Okay. I mean, he's grown on me a lot. I mean, not that I disliked him to start with, but pretty much everything I've seen of his has been in AEW. And
sure.
I genuinely enjoy watching him compete, so I'd be down for that. I don't want to see him go to WWE, especially the way you just painted that picture. Ugh.
You know what I'm saying is a lot, right?
Yeah, 100%. But no, I'm saying it's it's not a stretch from what would eventually be expected of him. But all right, I have one last thing, Joe.
All right,
and it's time for the segment that's sweeping the nation, and that is your Lexis King moment of the week. I'll put in a jingle in post on this. But Joe, on NXT this week, Baron Corbin was backstage. And I tell you what, Baron Corbin's still alive, still a thing. Looking great, by the way. Zero muscle mass. Hard to do. But he's backstage. He's doing something. Lexis King comes in frame, and Corbin asks him, hey, how'd you manage to pull off what you did last week with Trick accidentally, hitting Carmelo? It was really impressive. And Lexis King looks at him with a smile and says, I don't know, friend. This has been your Lexis King moment of the week. That was literally the conversation. It's I don't know.
You done?
Yes. It was just as bad as I just made it look.
So, at least he's not wrestling.
They're saving that for a pay-per-view.
Right. You're going to make you pay to see that.
Exactly. But, Joe, speaking of pay-per-views, did you know that there's a pay-per-view this weekend?
I did.
Sami Zayn's kicking down to the ring. It's Kofi Kingston doing his thing. Ruby
Soho
on the show.
Bryan Danielson.
No. Is it the
Tribal Chief?
yard? Let's find out. Does Joe know the card?
I thought the Lexus King moment of the week was funny, and I guess that's all that matters. But, Joe, according to Wikipedia, the most trusted source of all wrestling news and information, All Elite Wrestling will be holding Full Gear this Saturday. Yes, Saturday. And Wikipedia says that there are 9 announced matches. I'm sure about 7 more to come. One of those 9 is a pre-show. Joe, do you know the card?
I think so. I follow the product. 9 matches. Okay, so I just want to say to you, I enjoy the fact that you're doing a Lexus King moment of the week, but I don't enjoy the fact that Lexus King exists. Does that make sense?
You can't fight it. You can't fight the thing that's sweeping the nation.
All right, so
Lexus
let's go.
King, LA Knight, WrestleMania.
No, stop it. Don't put that evil in the world. All right.
AEW Full Gear.
AEW Full Gear. All right. We have MJF doing double duty. He's wrestling on the pre-show with question mark, taking on the Ass Boys.
That's correct.
For the ROH tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have MJF defending his world title, which is currently in the possession of the knife pervert himself, Jason White.
Or the Bang Bang. Yeah, the Bang Bang belt.
Right. I won't call it either Triple B thing. The real main event, we have Orange Cassidy defending the international title against Jon Moxley. And interesting bit of business that happened on TV this week where OC hits Moxley with the orange punch and Moxley just no-sells it.
Yeah, that was awesome. And they painted it as in like, oh shit, Orange Cassidy, his main weapon has no effect on Moxley. Yep. What's he gonna do? And
DJ put it out on Twitter. I'm gonna not mention a Todd on the show, but I'll mention DJ a bunch. I got a big one later on in the show for him in weekly purchases. But he mentioned, he goes, okay, between Wednesday and Saturday, OC needs to work on like some sort of new like death finish, you know?
Yeah.
All right. We have Hangman Adam Page against Swerve Strickland in a Texan death match.
That's correct.
We have the Golden Jets, which is Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, taking on the Young Bucks. The Bucks tag title shot at any time is on the line. If they lose, they lose that. But if the Young Bucks win, then Jericho and Kenny can never team up again or be friends again. Or who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, Kenny can go back to being in the Elite with them, so they'll stop being mad.
Right. We have 2 women's matches. One is the Hollywood Homecoming of Timeless Toni Storm as she takes on Hikaru Shida.
And how great was the Mariah May segment this week, where not only is it in black and white, but they added the popping and hissing of the video?
Yes. Great stuff. Great stuff. Good. Then we also have a triple threat for the TBS title as Chris Statlander defends the title against definitely spooky Julia Hart and maybe spooky All Elite Scooby-Doo herself, Sky Blue.
Upset of the century coming. Sky Blue for TBS Championship.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So then we have a 4-corner, like a 4-team match for the AEW tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
It's FTR. It's a House of Black of Murphy and Aleister Black.
Kind of.
No?
It's Kings of the Black Throne. So you have the wrong spooky boys in it.
It's the House of Black. What's the thing?
It's Malachi and Brody.
Oh, why did I think in the graphic it had has all of them in there? Anyway.
Well, it probably always has all of them, but it's the top guys.
Right. Against LFI of Roosh and shit, I can't remember. It's not Preston Vance. It's the other guy in LFI. Dralistico. And I said FTR is the tag team champs. They're not the tag team champs. It's Ricky Starks and Big Bill are the tag team champs.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Right. And then six-person tag match as we have the Rated R superstar, what do y'all don't like, Edge, Darby Allin, and Everybody Loves Sting, taking on Nick Wayne, Luchasaurus, and this year's winner of the 5th annual At Odds with Wrestling gender neutral monarch of At Odds, Christian Cage.
And I hate the fact that Wikipedia lists it as Sting, Darby Allin, Adam Copeland with Ric Flair versus God. Speaking of people leeching on to somebody else for relevance, but
yeah.
All right, like I said, I'm sure they're not going to have just a pre-show match, so you'll get at least one more, possibly two more. You know,
we have a 3-hour collision on Friday, essentially, because it's 2 hours of collision and then an hour of Rampage. So why even fucking bother, right?
No,
why draw a line in the sand? It's going head to head with SmackDown, right?
Mm.
Oh, so we're gonna get at least 2 to 3 matches announced there.
Yeah, I'm pumped for a Saturday pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm pumped for a Saturday pay-per-view as well.
Yeah, I was worried that those were gone with Collision coming, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think once Phil left, they could do whatever they want. You know, he was the one like, no, my show has to be on Saturday or I'll be mad.
Sounds like the Young Bucks.
You know, again, that's why they don't get along, because they're very much alike.
Yeah. Any big predictions other than Orange Cassidy beating Moxley?
Orange Cassidy's going to beat Mox.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe is going to team up with Max on the pre-show.
Okay.
I think Samoa Joe will probably cost Max the ROH tag titles. Max will beat Jay White. We will not get a definitive answer of who the devil is yet. We need to drag that out a little bit further. Edge gets the pinfall in his match by pinning Nick Wayne specifically.
Yeah.
Toni Storm does not win the title. I don't think she needs the title.
No, she definitely doesn't need it, but
yeah, I think Mariah May accidentally fucks up and costs her the title.
Okay.
I think Julia Hart wins the TBS title.
Does Sky Blue go full spooky, or does she?
Yeah, Sky Blue goes full spooky.
Okay. Down for it.
And that's like the only wild predictions that I have. Everything else, and again, I hate to say paint by numbers, but everything else is like as it is. You know, I think Ricky and Big Bill retain. I think Hangman wins this so that they could do the rubber match.
Well, wouldn't it be the rubber match? Hangman won the first one.
No, I thought Swerve won. No, Swerve won the first one.
Did he?
Yeah, because remember he cheated. He used Nana's crown.
Oh, that was that match. Okay, like I felt like never mind. That's my bad. You're right.
Yeah. So to set up a rubber match with the two of them, I'll say Kenny and Jericho beat the Bucks and get the tag title shot, and then Kenny and Jericho go on and beat Big Bill and Ricky Starks for the tag titles. Not on pay-per-view, but like
eventually, yeah.
Yeah,
because I feel like Jericho keeps like throwing together these like tag teams, whether it's like La Sex Gods or whatever, and always saying in storyline, "Oh, we're gonna go win the tag team titles." And correct me if I'm wrong, he's never won the tag titles, right?
Nope.
So like he wants to check that off the list.
Exactly.
So, all right, Tony can still use my idea of having the Bucks go away and tour the Indies for a year or so. Give back.
Do you have any predictions?
I mean, I agree with you on pretty much all that stuff. I agree with you that Toni Storm doesn't need the title, but I feel like they're just gonna give it to her anyways. You know, like just because, hey, most over woman should be the champion. I feel like that's kind of how Tony Khan books, but beyond that, no, I mean, we're pretty much straight on. Like, I'd love to see Sky Blue win, but I agree she's not going to. And I can see Julia Hart being rewarded because, like, listen to Brett and DJ talk about Julia Hart. She's super improved, you know? And
yeah, and like I said, I emailed them, and again, a lot of the women, and I know there's been, you know, in the Discord and stuff, again, I think Sky Blue still has a long way to go. The fact that she can't hit her finisher 90% of the time is a problem. But I feel like 2 matches back for someone who's been on the shelf. I don't think that Red Velvet is bad as everyone says she is. AEW has a lot of like good to passable women on their roster, but they also have like a lot of bad women on their roster, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I'd love to see Sheeta take on Red Velvet. I think that would be like a hell of a match, right? And then we're getting, on TV this week before the pay-per-view, we're getting Toni Storm versus Emi Sakura. I'm sure that match will be fucking awesome, right?
Yeah, Toni Storm talked to the studio head, Khan, to have a tune-up match.
So, again, you know, like I said, they're trying, you know, obviously 2 matches on TV this week when usually Dynamite only gets 1 TV match, but, you know, slow and steady, I guess. I don't know. It's been 4 years. Something's gotta give, right?
Yeah. All right. You convinced me. I'll watch the pay-per-view, Joe.
All right. And I know I said we're not going to get the reveal of the devil. Do you have any speculation on who or what the devil is?
I mean, who it's going to be tomorrow or next week, or who it was supposed to be last week, or who it was supposed to be 3 weeks ago. You know, like I'm sure originally it was supposed to be Adam Cole. Originally.
When the reveal happens, when the mask comes off on TV or pay-per-view, who is it going to be?
It's going to be Phil.
You think it's going to be Phil?
No, I mean, how great would that be, though? Like, whether you hate Phil or not, like, how big of a coup would that be to keep that a secret and just have it be him? Like, I think that would blow up the internet as far as the wrestling world goes.
It would, but Phil has too many stooges. That would make it even more impressive. That would leak that immediately.
Which is why it would be even more impressive.
That's
true. To keep a secret of that magnitude. Man, I don't know. Like, I hate all the things I'm seeing. That's like, oh, it's Jungle Boy. It's the Kingdom and Roddy. Like, I feel like those are just obvious answers. I don't know, honestly. And I don't think that they know anymore. I think they're figuring it out as they go along. You know?
I'm going to go, and like I floated a couple theories out on social media, but there's one that I'm really leaning toward these days, and this is the one that I'm going to stick with. Okay?
All right.
I think the devil this whole time has been Max. And the explanation for it, MJF Max, not Max Cast or something.
Yeah,
the explanation for it is, right, is if you've ever seen the horror movie that came out a year or so ago called Malignant, where a woman had a conjoined Siamese twin attached at her brain that they opened up her skull and pushed it back into her head, and then her abusive husband pushed her up against the wall, and that caused the conjoined twin to break loose, and at night being able to take over her body and go out and commit crimes. That's what I think the explanation is going to be.
It's Max's Dark Passenger taking over?
Yes.
Oh, that's terrible, Joe.
When it happens.
I just like the idea of it being like, I wish the devil would show up more often and would take out a more varied selection of people that are Max adjacent. And what I mean by that is, like, they mentioned in the Discord, is the very first time we saw the devil, he attacked the Bullet Club Gold. And then since then, it's just been babyface that are friends with Max. It should be like provoking all of these challengers, like all these, take out Wardlow. So Wardlow's pissed again. Take out Joe. if it's not going to be Samoa Joe in some way. Take out Samoa Joe so Samoa Joe is even more fired up. But also you took out the Acclaim. Take out the Kingdom 1 week. So it's just you're laying out people that are friends and potential foes of Max so that you're wearing them down. I akin it to Bane breaking all the villains out of Arkham so that he can wear down Batman. And then when Bane goes after Batman, he's at his weakest. And I think whoever it is masterminding a way to just run Max like haggard and weary and then go in and pluck and just win the title. And Max doesn't look weak because he's been defending the title like every single show for 3 months.
I definitely think there's something in there that it is probably like I like my theory better, but it is probably going to be Cole or Britt Baker, either Cole behind it the whole time or Britt doing this to try to weaken Max so that Adam could beat Max.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know. We'll see something. I want it to be the conjoined twin that lives in Max's brain.
It's still better than like the Max getting roadhead and like getting in a car accident and then blaming the girl like storyline. I think it's a more believable way to go what you're pitching.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, Joe, you teased it before, and I think it's time that we talk about what everybody's here for, and that's the announcement of the final 8 competitors of
the gender-neutral monarch of At Odds Wrestling.
All right, Joe. So obviously last week we announced the first 8, the people that were nominated by you as well as all of our friends. And I'm just going to recap that real quick. Chicken Salad Podcast nominated Jeff Cannonball. The Jingle Meister nominated Chris Statlander. IW Guide nominated Alec Price. So the card is going to change. I'm sure this was a thorn pick. Nominated Kaplan. T&M Shows, Tim and Marcus nominated Kalani Jordan, respectfully. We Need Wrestling nominated Sting. Hayabusa nominated Brandon St. James. And Joe, you nominated the person who I believe you think is going to go all the way. And if you don't think this person's going to go all the way, what can they say?
Go fuck yourself.
That's right.
Thank you for setting.
Go ahead.
Thank you for setting me up for that.
No problem. Christian Cage is your nominee. So it is my job to announce the final 8 competitors. And next week, for the Thanksgiving Super Show We Need At Odds, I will be announcing the brackets. And on Black Friday, the voting will begin. So the day after Thanksgiving. So the final 8 competitors, in no particular order. Number 1, Timeless Tony Storm. Speak of the devil.
I don't got a soundbite for her. Okay.
Number 2, Filthy Tom Lawler.
I know him. He's a good guy.
Not Bone Dog or Bone. He lost the right to that, whatever it was. Number 3, World Class Channing Thomas.
I know him as well.
I think you're going to know of everybody that's on this, so
all right.
I hope so. Number 4, somebody that's been talked about a lot lately, potentially going on to bigger and better things very shortly, and we'll take the credit for that if she wins. Megan Bayne.
Okay.
And number 5, the owner of one of the most prestigious titles in all of independent wrestling, and that is the Haas boot, the Duke.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Next up, again, speaking of people going on to bigger and better things, the real Adam Van special of this entire tournament, and that would be maybe Spooky Sky Blue. Next up, we have just 2 more names here. I should have written down numbers. We have somebody almost picked by another one of the podcasts that nominate our show, but I liked that this person was on the fringe of getting selected, and I decided to go ahead and put them in, and that is Hardway Sam Holloway.
Okay, now I will say, if Christian was not going to be my pick, he was on my short list of people.
All right. And lastly, somebody that I think you and I are big fans of, someone who's had a great year, and we've been watching a lot of their earlier stuff on This Day in Wrestling History, and I say not enough of their stuff, and that is Alex Shelley.
Oh, there you go. Now, again, obviously the picks that we had from last week, from our friends, other podcasters, etc., and the picks that you've made here, I know over on We Need Wrestling, or on Final Wrestling Place, Tim and Marcus were kind of giving us some shit by picking like old people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
People that like aren't on the come up, not new people that need the push or need the rub or whatever it is.
Well, I feel like that was definitely a shot at Brett and DJ first staying.
I picked Christian, you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is like, go back and look at the previous 4 years. Like, we were nominating like TV shows, and
that was
Adam's uncle.
The first year, the tournament wasn't fully formed yet. It wasn't as prestigious.
And it's fully formed now. It is what it is, right?
Oh, this is an event. This is a big event. This is like probably the biggest thing in podcasting all year.
Oh my goodness! Listen, they're just hot that the finals are going to be Sting versus Christian, right?
You never know. We'll see how the brackets play out. Okay. Like I said, there was long meetings of the selection committee at poolside to just get these final 8 and getting these brackets set up in a fair and balanced way. That might take even longer.
Oh yeah, nothing fair and balanced. Jesus fucking. Anyway, I like my chances. That's all I'm saying. I like my chances. Right.
All right. Again, no. I can't fault you, Christian Cage, great guy. Looking forward to his first round matchup.
All right, we're ready to get some voicemails.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, Adam, again, I don't typically pre-listen to the voicemails, but I do look at the names of people so I could put them in my little notes, right?
Sure.
To see who it was that was calling, but we have a celebrity calling in on this one.
Oh.
Hello, this is Kenny Bygod Pickett. Last week, I was listening to the program At Odds with Wrestling because my favorite podcast, Getting Even with Grappling, said they were going to nominate someone for the Gender Neutral Monarch Tournament. And then I found out Adam Van told them he couldn't pick Satnam Singh. And as Kenny Bygod Pickett, quarterback of the Steelers, Adam, I am very disappointed in you. And I would like to say, if you do not reinstate Satnam Singh into the tournament, then I will throw an interception. I mean, I was probably going to do it anyways, but this time I'll do it, and it'll all be your fault, and the Browns will probably make the playoffs. So please, reconsider, as I, Kenny Bygod Pickett, implore you, free Satnam Singh.
Well, first of all, I'm starstruck. It sounds a lot different on like the phone than he does when I watch him do interviews. But like,
no, that's how he sounds. That's how he sounds.
Oh, I mean, maybe I just hear it differently. But like, awesome. And Joe, Kenny knows this, and he brought up throwing an interception, saying he was joking when he said he would probably do it anyways. But I'm going to ask you a question here, Joe, real quick, and this is more an educational thing for you and to let our Cleveland listeners know. Joe, which quarterback in the NFL has gone the longest without throwing an interception this season and like a current streak? Is it Patrick Mahomes?
I was going to guess at John Elway, but I don't think he's played in like 20 years, right?
No, he hasn't. No, it's not him. Do you think it's Patrick Mahomes, like the greatest quarterback in the NFL, as some say? Is it him?
Listen, when you're as prolific as Patrick Mahomes, you're bound to like slip up and throw one or two interceptions.
Sure. Okay, so it's not Patrick Mahomes. Is it Deshaun Watson, the guy who can't even get on the field anymore in Cleveland? Was it him?
Is he the kicker that you talk about that Tim picked? Because my football knowledge is completely washed right now.
No. Deshaun Watson is the 18-time accused sexual predator that the Browns signed to a lucrative guaranteed contract.
Sexual predator, huh? And he's not on the Steelers. That's rare oversight on their hiring team.
No, the person in the NFL with the longest streak of completions without interception is Kenny By God Pickett. And of course, Kenny knew that. He was just teasing when he didn't say that on the call. And sure, he's 14-3 over his last 17 games, which is, I believe, one of the best records in the NFL over that span. And he's leading all of NFL quarterbacks over the past 2 years in game-winning drives and fourth quarter comebacks. But again, he knew all of this. But again, Kenny, I apologize. I'm not putting Satnam Singh in the tournament.
All right, you'll have to go. And again, listen, I'll just say, whoever asked Kenny Pickett to call in, you might want to have Alexa Bliss call in next week.
Well, I'd listen to her.
See, we start at the top of the mountain. We don't start in the middle of the mountain with football players, not even real people, right?
Yeah, and again, it would just feel forced if she called in next week, because I'd be like, why didn't you call this week, Alexa? And like, I would really listen to you. By next week, the brackets our production team would have already started work on those.
All right, fair enough. Thank you for the
Kenny.
call, Kenny. Yes, thank you. Next call.
Hello, gentlemen. Kevin here. Oh my God, I can't believe it's time already. I've spent the day decorating for Christmas. No, for the return of homework. Oh, it's been so long. I got my homework cards out. You know, I bought homework gifts for everyone and all. I can't wait. And what a gift it would be this holiday season. Give someone a Patreon subscription so they can hear the extra show all about the homework. But anyways, you know, it wasn't a gift. I had a long night last night. I had a very long night. I watched AEW Dynamite, very enjoyable show. Had fun with that. And then I wanted to stay up because Becky Lynch was on Celebrity Jeopardy. And Becky's my favorite for many reasons. And I'm like, I'm going to stay up and just watch her. I had no idea what I was getting ready to watch. Because, I mean, she's still wonderful. She's still beautiful. She's still my favorite. But that was bad. That was really, really bad on Jeopardy. And I mean, you know, nerves. I don't know. Like, I could make tons of excuses as a fan of hers, but why bother? You know. However, I know people that were watching it and they're like, oh, there's a wrestler on there. Kevin likes wrestling. You know, I wonder if he knows who this wrestler is. You know, family member, stuff like that. And then she turns in an embarrassing performance, which is going to lead to people saying, oh, God, Kevin, you watch wrestling? Those people are stupid. Did you see that one on Celebrity Jeopardy? She was awful. And it makes wrestling in turn look dumb. And it's going to make people think Becky Lynch looks dumb, too, when in her actual environment of wrestling, she's a great star for it. She just isn't good on game shows. But this leads to my question for the week. I know, where was I going? Gentlemen, can you give me a time where a wrestler embarrassed wrestling, or wrestling was bad? Not within wrestling, not like a Katie Dick situation or something like that, where you're embarrassed to be a wrestling fan, but where a wrestler's in a mainstream thing and they cause wrestling to look kind of stupid and dumb. I don't know if like Hulk Hogan, Richard Belzer would count. It's more of an accident. You know, I wouldn't really say that was on the same level, but something where a wrestler, for whatever reason, made us embarrassed to be wrestling fans, but not on a thing that took place in wrestling. Something took place in other media. Okay, I hope that question made sense. I'm looking forward to the Patreon tonight, guys. I got a lot going on. Wish me well. Talk to you guys later.
Can I say, like he mentions Hogan, can I say like when Hogan would do a movie and then people would be like, oh, Suburban Commando is terrible, or something like that, and they'd be like, well, that's a wrestler, and wrestlers are bad at movies, so wrestlers are bad at everything, so wrestling is bad. You know, like just any time a wrestler would be in a bad movie.
Yeah, I got one that trumps everything, right? But we'll get to that momentarily. As we're seeing this, I saw Kevin post up on social media on his way home. He had a blowout on the highway, and like he posted a picture of his tire, and it's like blown out, like 3 giant like holes in it. I'm hoping he's listening to this after he's safe and sound. That sucks, man. He's been having a rough week. And shout out to Kevin. Thoughts with him, right? Number 2, is it okay? So number 2. Is it funnier if Becky is really that dumb and didn't know any of the questions and still went on Celebrity Jeopardy? Or is it funnier that she went on there, did a bit, and purposely got questions wrong?
I think it's really funny that people are dissecting this, like putting a lot of thought into it. And I saw a clip this morning. I didn't watch it. It was just like, oh, Becky Lynch was on Celebrity Jeopardy. I'm like, okay, that's a thing that happened, and I gave it no more thought, you know?
And I will say Becky is very lucky to be in the position and to be as over and to kind of call her own shots as she can. Because, again, whether this was her doing a bit or she really is that dumb. Remember when Booker T and the WWE Superstars went on The Weakest Link? And Booker T did real bad? And then his gimmick on TV for like 3 months was that he was stupid and illiterate? Yeah. This could have been Becky's gimmick if she was lower on the card than what she is right now.
Yeah, they'll just redo the Maria backstage interviewer gimmick.
Oh, it'd be 1,000 times worse. Forget about it. You know what I mean? Like, she'd be like a drooling mongoloid in the corner, you know, unlike skits, right? Yeah. Now, Kevin does pose a question. Was there a time when a wrestler did something out of wrestling that made me embarrassed to be a wrestling fan? Now, Adam, I didn't need to give this a lot of thought. I got 2 words for you. Chris Benoit.
All right, yeah, that one wins.
Nothing before and nothing since will top that. That's the peak of the mountain.
Yeah.
No one's reaching there ever again, right?
Yeah, thanks Kevin Sullivan for ruining this for everybody.
Come on now. We don't know that for sure. Allegedly. All right. Thanks, Kevin. Hopefully everything's all right with the tire and everything else this week. It's the weekend, man. Pay-per-view. You got that to look forward to, right? All right. It's pink button time. It's time to hear what young Ed has to say.
Hey, Joe and Adam. It's Ed. I'm on my break at work because they gave us our Thanksgiving dinner thing today. And I just wanted you guys to know that I got a baked potato and I'm not going to eat the skins of it, and I'm eating it in my car so no one can judge me. Because the internet's made me self-conscious about it. Anyway, I know we're talking about it a bit in Discord, but I just want to say that I'm really excited for Madam Web. That looks bad. That's my shit. Not only is it a bad Spider-Man Sony Universe movie, which I love. There's a bad guy in it that looks like a evil Spider-Man. I don't know who the fuck he is. I don't even know who Madam Web is because of Secret Galaxy talking about how they didn't want to make a toy of her because she's an old lady. I didn't see an old lady in it except the one scene in the subway. Because the lady from 50 Shades is not an old lady. But one of my other things that I'm excited about this movie is Sydney Sweeney's in it, and she's terrible. I love her. And in that trailer, she made her dumb Sydney Sweeney face where she just looks confused with her jaw a little gape. She used to do it in Euphoria all the time. She's so bad that she's got a dumb face. I love it. Adam, you should Google Sydney Sweeney. I think you'll like her. I think that'll be an Adam Band special, possibly. But yeah, Madam Web looks terrible. So Joe, tell me what Madam Web is, because I don't even fucking know. I just know I'm going to see this. This looks bad. Okay, bye.
Well, hello, Sydney Sweeney.
Madam Web is a lady who is tangentially related to Spider-Man, who they have over the last, let's say, 10 to 15 years made more directly involved with Spider-Man. That she's an old lady who sits in a chair and she's blind, but she can reach out and see all the different timelines of past, present, and future. But now that there's the Spider-Verse and the multiverse of Spider-Man and all this other shit, that's what the movie's going to be. In more recent years, Jessica Carpenter, who was one of the Spider-Women, not the original Spider-Woman, but another one. When Madam Web got killed, she took over as Madam Web. But then, you have the villain is Ezekiel, and if you were reading the Spider-Man comics around that time, spoilers for Madam Web, that Ezekiel is the fake out villain, that there's going to be an actual real villain that he's preparing. Madam Web, who I don't know who these actress ladies that Ed is talking about are, but like they say the names and the names of the other girls that like she coincidentally like has those moments within the trailer. Those are all other people who were Spider-Woman in the comics. So like they're tying all them together. Somebody got the idea of like, hey, we should do like a girl Spider-Man so girls come see our movies. Like nobody thinks about like, how about we just make a good movie, right? Anyway.
I've just been like looking at Sydney Sweeney photos, but yeah, I have no thought on it because like I saw Venom 1, and that was the only Sony Spider-Man movie or Spider-Man adjacent movie I've seen. And Sydney Sweeney, like I can do a Google search. I don't need to see the movie now because I've seen what she looks like. So it just cost them a ticket.
I like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero of all time, and I've seen none of the Sony adjacent movies because they all look terrible.
You didn't see even the first Venom?
No.
Like your lesson. I needed the first one so I could know better afterwards.
No, I looked at the trailer. I'm like, this looks like dog shit, right?
Yeah. Just wait until I sign Morbius for homework one time.
And I'll watch it. Like, there's no wrestlers in it, whatever. Like, I'll watch it, and I'm probably like, I'll get some sort of enjoyment out of it. But what they put out as the selling point of the movie looks like garbage.
Yeah, we need Matt Smith to work a match so I can somehow get
Now, conversely, the trailer that they released before it got delayed again for Kraven, like the Kraven trailer looked like a new level of dog shit. And I'm like, this can't be a real movie. I have to see this. And then when they delayed Kraven, I'm like, all right, well, I don't know. Maybe they're going to like do reshoots or something to like fix the things that made the trailer look stupid awesome and then make it just stupid.
Yeah. Well, all right. Did call back?
Ed did call back. You got one more call from Ed.
Hey, John Adam, it's Ed. Hey, real quick, I got an actual pro wrestling thing to talk about. Hey, I'm watching Alvarez talk about wrestling. He just said that they're planning on doing, in WWE, they're planning on doing Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny, my favorite WWE superstar. And if they do that at Mania, what do you think they're going to do with your boy then, Joe? What's the LA Knight? Yeah.
He'll be the host.
What's he going to do? Because I just assumed Logan Paul. I thought that's it. But if Logan Paul's wrestling my favorite WWE superstar, Bad Bunny, that frees up LA Knight. Yeah. So what do you think? Who do you think he's going to wrestle? I bet they don't even let him wrestle. I bet he hosts it.
There you go.
I bet they do that shit. It'll be terrible. Okay, bye.
You know, Ed, you call in here, you laugh. Oh, LA Knight, what's he going to do? Oh, they're going to do Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny. First of all, this is what you get for listening to Brian Alvarez, number one. Number two, even if he says they're doing the match, that don't mean they're doing it at WrestleMania. They could do it at Royal Rumble. They could do it at another Puerto Rico show, you know, in Bad Bunny's hometown or whatever it is. And let's say they do it at WrestleMania. You know what they're going to do at LA Knight? He's going to beat Phil at WrestleMania, Ed. That's what LA Knight's going to do. And it's not even going to be the main event. The sun's going to still be shining when it happens.
I do agree. LA Knight as host would be a great way to reward him. He'd get all that screen time on both nights.
And not have to take a bump and sell merchandise. I get it.
Yeah. And Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul, that's too much star power to waste on one match. You're not giving anybody the rub. That's Rock Austin. There's no point in that, you know?
I could see them doing like a tag match where it's like Logan Paul and an actual wrestler against Bad Bunny and LA Knight.
Well, I mean, Logan Paul's an actual wrestler. You take that
You
back.
know what I mean.
All right, yeah. A regular full-time non-super guy. Yeah. All right.
Somebody whose picture's on the side of the trucks, right?
They just haven't had a chance to update the trucks for Logan Paul yet.
Uh-huh. Thank you for your call, Ed. Thanks, everyone, for the calls. So, hey, Todd does this, and again, this will be the last time I mention Todd on the podcast ever again. The Longbox Heroes account sends out the reminders for the Pigskin Pick'ems, of course. Currently, Adam and I are both in that big group of people, like 17 people that are all tied for 8th place.
Yeah, I had a bad week. I fell back. I regressed. I lost that fantasy football too.
Yeah,
legs. Yeah. But hey, Steelers won again. So, and they're playing the Browns this week. So that should be very entertaining for you. Yeah, I know you love seeing.
Oh, I'll be watching that game too. Yeah, I watch all the football games.
Yeah.
Sure.
Especially one with all the stakes of this. This is me versus Ohio.
I'm going to ask all of my friends that listen to this show, and you know who you are, that are a Steelers fan or a Browns fan. I'm going to ask when you're tweeting about the game this weekend if you could please use the official hashtag so I could mute it and not see any of this nonsense.
I have decided, you might find this relevant, though, I have decided to no longer tweet whether or not I like football. After probably 10 years of doing it, I've decided that it's done. Because A, people think that I stole that from Seth Rollins, even though I didn't even know he did that.
You did?
What's that?
No, I didn't hear it. It was a bird or something.
I did not steal that from Seth Rollins. I did not know he did that until last season. And number two, people from Ohio started doing it too recently. So I'm like, yeah, all of these things are reasons why I'm going to stop.
Any people from Ohio you want to name and shame here publicly, or just the entire state is doing it?
Well, the entire state's doing it. One of them is a trainer at AIW, so I don't want to call him out because he hurt me. So I'm not going to do that.
Gotcha.
I won't call that person out. But yeah, it's going to be a tough week. A lot tougher if somehow the Steelers blow this, but I don't think they will.
I don't know. Kenny Pickett called in and he said, Kenny by God Pickett called in and said he was going to intentionally throw some interceptions. There's a way you could fix that, Adam, but again, whatever. You know.
I'll take it under advisement.
What's going to happen when Kenny Pickett throws that interception this weekend? What are you going to do?
Same thing I do every time he throws an interception. Just deal with it, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to live with my mistakes.
There you go. So, hey, not a mistake. Go sign up for IWTV. Use our promo, a.k.a. Jerry's Internet Wrestling Emporium. Use our promo code at odds if you're a new subscriber. Let Jerry know that you came to him from us. Jerry has been making the rounds again, doing interviews about the Cruel versus Tremont match. He was just on the horror site 1428elm.com, which is, the address of Freddy Krueger. Duh. But yeah, it's cool. Jerry's getting out there. They included a picture of him. They spelled Jerry the correct way. Mm-hmm. So those are all good things to go check out and support folks that help us and everything like that. Currently, there is a sale going on with our TeePublic store. Everything is 35% off until this Sunday, when the switch flips on Monday, that for the next week, everything's 40% off. Everything's on sale over at the TeePublic for the rest of the month. Do you want to save 35% or do you want to save 40%? The choice is up to you. Go support us.
40 sounds like a bigger number and a better number than 35. Yeah.
Yeah. And also you want to help us out. You could make any of your eBay purchases through our eBay affiliate link. When you click on links to various merchants on the site and make a purchase, this can result in the site earning a commission. Affiliate programs and affiliations include, but are not limited to, the eBay Partner Network.
Yeah.
And before you rattle off the names of the shows, do you want to plug the Patreon here or later?
You know what? People have stuck around. Let's go ahead and let them know, Joe. Let them know the next episode of Conversations with Joe.
All right. So I recorded 2. I mentioned it last week. It was one of those things where I'm like, I'm going to take December off. And then I had not 1, but 2 interviews fall in my lap. So I'm like, all right, I got the rest of the year taken care of. I don't have to worry about this until January, right? So if you signed up for all of them, obviously we have a bunch of them. It started all the way back where I interviewed Ian Valfor, a.k.a. Billy Kumahara, when he was doing stuff with Chikara. He was a producer credited on Ashes, and it was the 10-year anniversary, and that's kind of where it all came from there. And from there, we ended up having interviews with Derek Sabato, Ultramantis Black, Hollow Wicked, Kevin Ford, almost like a Chikara historian, Young Ed, who is, he was a fan around that time as well, and then just recently coming off the one with Scott, a.k.a. Max Smashmaster. We're going to be reviewing the recent Rad Pro Wrestling show, Power Transfer, over on the Patreon. But the next episode that goes up, I don't know when it goes up. I'm not in control of those things. Okay. I hear my go ahead.
Before you go any further, I'll say it will be going live the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Okay. So it's going to be me talking about Chikara stuff and Ashes and maybe some things before. And I might get one current question in with the current Ring of Honor World Champion and New Japan Strong Champion Eddie Kingston.
I out of nowhere, just so people know, I just got an email like a week ago from Joe, and it's just an MP3 file, and it just says conversations with Joe Eddie Kingston. And it's like, I'm like, I didn't know about it before it was done. You know, like I was shocked, and I still haven't listened to it. I want to wait, like out of a show of solidarity with the people that have to wait until next Saturday. But I'm not going to wait. I'm probably going to listen to it this weekend.
Now, I will say it was Tim and Marcus over in Final Wrestling Place that inspired me to ask, and I did. So I did send it to them. So they've listened to it already. Again, I think they're patrons or whatever, but since they were the inspiration for me to ask Eddie and get Eddie and everything else like that, the month after that, I'm going to sit down with the current Avery Good, a.k.a. Dasher Hatfield, and we're going to talk about that sort of stuff as well. So you know who the next two are going to be. I don't know who I'm doing for 2024. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But next Saturday, conversation with Joe over on the Patreon with Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, and I think next Friday, the day before, I'm just going to, like, the Patreon's going up to $20 a month. So if you want to get it for the current tier, sign up today. Enjoy all that previous back catalog, the show homework, the Joe Sposto selfie of the month. Get in on the ground floor at the lower rates. Jacking up the price.
And sometimes I can't tell. Adam needs to ring a bell when I know that he's telling a joke or not. If he does increase the Patreon to $20 a month for all tiers, shoot me a message, PayPal me $15, and I'll just send you the MP3.
All right. $12 is the new rate.
All right. So yeah, it worked out. We'll talk about it in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So sign up now. Patreon.com/@oddswrestling, @oddswrestling.com/Patreon, whichever. Obviously, once the episode drops, there will be a full campaign on social media through all of our various channels. Maybe a graphic is under design. We'll see. But obviously, if you sign up now, you'll be within your 30 days. So even if you were, for some reason, just signing up for the Eddie Kingston interview, obviously, like, you can sign up now. You'll get the Eddie. You'll get the back catalog, all of that stuff for just $5.
Yeah, buddy.
Cool. And I appreciate you for doing this, obviously.
Again, we're getting again. I still got some ideas. We still got some people we can mine for content, you know. And you know what? I'll just say this: there was a discussion, I guess, online last week of someone. It's not the first time that it's come up, and it won't be the last time. That some indie wrestler wrestles for MLW as well was chastising people of saying, "I get paid to wrestle, and my matches are 10 to 15 minutes long." And, you know, I should be paid for my time if I'm going to be on your podcast and all this other stuff. And like this whole big, like, multi-tweet thing. Right. And I've had a lot of my friends on the podcast a couple years ago when I did the bit, when I had people call in and leave the voicemail of, like, you know, me asking them to be the replacement host. Yeah. You know, I didn't pay them nothing. They didn't ask me for nothing. I asked them, hey, could you do me a favor? And, you know, most of them said no problem. A lot of them either blew me off or just said no for whatever reason. I understood, and I led with that. And anybody that I've had on Conversations with Joe and anybody that I will have on Conversations with Joe, you know, and I'm very lucky to have a lot of friends in the wrestling business. But if I've reached out to someone, anyone, and they said, you know, you have to pay for my time, I'd be like, I'm good. No problem. If you don't want to do a podcast, just tell people you don't want to do a podcast. Don't make up a lie that, like, you know, you're going to charge people for it. And there was a time, maybe about like 5 or 6 years ago, where I know people that were making the transition from the indies to WWE were charging for podcasts, and they were out there a bunch, and then you saw a bunch of their interviews dry up. And again, you could just say, I don't want to do your podcast. It's a lot easier than like a multi-tweet thing saying you're going to charge people.
So I shouldn't be charging people to go on their podcasts, is what you're telling me.
Oh, you do whatever you want to do.
All right,
as long as you don't make a multi-tweet thread about it, you're fine.
I do, but the algorithm blocks me anyways.
That's true. You're shadow banned, so I don't see it.
All right. Speaking of people that are shadow banned, these podcasts, Joe. Longbox Heroes After Dark, We Need Wrestling, Porch Talk, Viewer's Choice, Indie Wrestling Guide, Wings on Wings, Hayabusa, Chicken Salad Pod, and Final Wrestling Place.
I need anabolic steroids from this doctor right now. Anabolic steroids is a logical next step.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. All right, Joe, best part of the show.
Some might cost a little. Some might cost a lot. But I'm the $100 Vansky. And your figures will be bought.
Joe, breaking news. You're hearing it here first. Next week on our combined Super Show, Brett will actually be singing the $100 Vansky theme song.
Oh, nice.
He doesn't even know it yet, but he's going to do it.
Do we need to get an instrumental version of it?
We might.
So that, like, I could play it without your vocals so that he can lead on it?
DeWicki, send that to Joe. You have the raw audio, probably.
All right,
cool. Joe, I saw your notes, and I see you have a couple things.
Yes.
I have a purchase, so I'll let you go first.
So when I sent you the email this morning, you saw the email that I sent you at about 8 o'clock this morning, I had nothing.
Okay.
And then in the last 12 hours, I got two things, right?
All right, what's one of them?
One of them is Todd's Christmas present. If you listen to At Odds, and again, concerted effort, Todd's never coming up on the show again after tonight. He's not shadow banned, he's banned.
Yeah.
But usually we do for Longbox Heroes Patreon previewing the past, we go through stuff 30 years ago, whatever it is, and then Todd will mention something like, oh, I had this, but it's gone, or I wish I had this, or whatever it is. And I always make little notes for myself, and I say, like, oh, and then this, that, the other thing, right? So there was one thing that I had on my list from a couple months ago, and again, I'm just being vague with a couple months ago, and then I was watching them, and they weren't selling, and then something happened within the next, 2 weeks, where I saw a lot of the people that were selling them on eBay were changing it from, a bid to a bid with a reserve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw one, and I made an offer, which was because I'm like, oh, let me see. I have an idea of what I want to pay for this. And let me do this, less the shipping, and the reserve's not met. And I'm like, well, I'm seeing one right here that is, let's just say $60 or make offer, free shipping, no reserve. Well, I'm going to offer this guy what I just offered you with a reserve, and you rejected it. And I offered it to this guy, and he accepted it. And his picture of this thing looked much nicer than your picture of this thing.
Yeah. All right.
And Adam could see what it is, but I'm not saying what it is.
Yeah. No, I saw in the notes there. I'm actually curious as to what that actually looks like, too. I'm sure I remember you guys talking about it, but
I can pull up a picture of it.
Yeah, sure.
I'll pull, see, you have to text shit to me, right? I can just do this.
I wonder if one day, if we ever evolve how we do a podcast, if we can both share screen and do audio and stuff like that simultaneously.
StreamYard, baby. StreamYard.
Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
See, that's something I totally also would want, and just it would go someplace and I would never look at it again, but I'd be happy I had it,
Right. And again, as you see right on the, let's say the package, it says 1993 because we were doing the 1993 stuff. And I didn't know that this would be in Todd's wheelhouse.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I can't. I know exactly what you're talking about. I just don't want to divulge why I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right. Excuse me. as I said, I just bought one thing. I am currently in the year of financial responsibility, so obviously I'm not spending. And one thing popped up on my eBay, and the only reason I bought this, Joe, is because it was so cheap. So cheap. And I'm going to send you a picture of it. I bought a test shot prototype to, I believe, a 2018 WWE Elite Series Alexa Bliss figure. And it was, I want to say, $29 shipped on eBay. So I was just like, well, I don't own a Bliss test shot. And it's super cheap. And it's obviously what I have a figure of. And right now, I mean, honestly, I have the Iconics. I have Orange Cassidy. I have Alexa Bliss. If I can get myself an Eddie Kingston test shot, I can officially say I'm done with prototypes. So I'm one step closer. And like I said, the price was so cheap, and I just jumped on it. So even though I am in a full spending freeze, I could not justify not buying that at that price.
Yeah, again, I hear you. You know, you're a test shot guy, so, you know, this makes a lot of sense. The price on it, I like on the box that it says a highly detailed action figure, right?
Yeah.
But then the face of that Alexa Bliss figure sucks.
The face?
The face.
Yeah, she has one decent looking figure where it actually looks like her. Some of her figures, go ahead, look up on your Google machine. It's an Alexa Bliss basic series where she's wearing a suit. See if you can see that on the screen. It is quite possibly the worst action figure ever made from a likeness standpoint. But
it's a basic?
It's a basic. It was when she was like out of action thanks to Ronda Rousey for the year. And she was the host of WrestleMania and doing like the Moment of Bliss and stuff like that. But yeah, it's that one with the suit. See if you can get a close-up picture of that. That's a bad picture of it.
No.
You need a higher resolution thing.
Come on. Yeah, that don't look good.
That's terrible. All of her she's got like Bret Hart syndrome when it comes to likenesses on figures.
That looks like a Brooke Hogan figure.
Yeah, it's really bad. But what are you gonna do? Her basic rookie figure, the NXT figure, is a good likeness, and she has a baby face like pandemic era figure that's a good likeness. But all the rest of them look terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that's all I bought, Joe. What else did you get?
So maybe you remember from a couple weeks ago, I mentioned here on the show where I had pre-ordered the McFarlane Toys DC Sinestro figure, and it was the Sinestro that I like, and the yellow outfit, you know, all gimmicked up, you know, the modern version of him. And then my package gets delivered, and I open them up, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, did I order the wrong one? Is this like a misprint or something? Because it's Sinestro, but he's in like the Green Lantern outfit. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but I wanted the one in the yellow outfit, right?
Yeah.
And then I go online and I'm like, what's going on with this? And everyone's like, you idiot, you got the Chase, right? That's like a $50 figure. And I'm like, oh. What?
The Platinum Edition is what they call them, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I wanted the regular one. And then everyone's like, oh, you'll find the regular one out and about, you know? So I'm sitting here working, work's been busy, and I get a text from DJ, and he's like, oh, it's at the Target, $32 or whatever it is with tax. And I go, I'm trusting your judgment. How's the box look? And he's like, oh, box looks okay. Here's a close-up of a spot that I have a question about, but I would buy this if it was me. I'm like, no problem. Money sent. I'll get it when I see him on Saturday. Very nice of DJ to do that. Very nice of all of us to be looking out for each other. You know, it's so nice to be part of a toy community and family, you know, that's not looking to grift each other and like charge $70 shipped for a $40 figure, you know, that's right. Yeah. Anyway, I want to take this time to give DJ my Person of the Year award right now. Never been given out before publicly. It's being given out publicly here. Do you want to know why I'm giving that to DJ? Not just because he picked this figure up for me, right?
Okay.
So this is not the first time, but definitely recently, when everyone's been looking for like that new set of the elites that have the end cap, you know, with like the Terry Funk and the Honky Tonk Man and the everything else in it.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone goes and like, oh, the figures are here and I'll get what I want. And I come back like a day later or an hour later and like, oh, it's been cleaned out, but the end cap thing is here. What do I always say, Adam? What do I say to all of you guys when you post that picture in the Discord?
You say, pick it up, walk out the store.
I say, pick that up and walk out the goddamn store with it. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, you know, somebody will stop me. Oh, they're probably got to take it back for inventory. Excuse. You know what DJ did today, Adam?
Fucking he picked it up and walked it out.
He picked the goddamn thing up and he walked out with it. And you know what happened?
Nothing.
He brought it home. Nobody stopped him. Do you think a dumb punk kid working at Target is going to give a shit?
I'm thinking of like, what is it, the squeaky voice teen from Simpsons. Like, oh, sir, you can't take that in. You know?
And DJ just shows him the picture of him standing next to Lance Archer, right? I heard Pat on Stink Sheet last week or whatever the hell it was. And he's like, oh, yeah, I got to meet Lance Archer. I'm doing a bad impersonation of Pat's voice. It's insulting. I apologize, Pat. I'll do a normal voice. Pat says, oh, yeah, I saw Lance Archer. He's huge, man. He's a monster. And I'm like, I stand next to DJ all the time, and he's not a monster. And he's like got an inch shorter than Lance Archer. What are we doing here, guys? But anyway, DJ listened to me. He took the end cap thing, and nothing happened. He took it home. Now, is DJ going to go and sell that on eBay? Probably not. Is Michelle going to be pissed that he's bringing more shit home? Probably.
Yeah.
But let this be a lesson to you, Adam, and everyone listening. When you go to the store and they have those end cap things and they're empty, just fucking take them.
Well,
nothing will happen to you.
You're saying let this be a lesson to me. I didn't want one, though, so why would I take one?
Because you can go and sell it in the other toy group.
I'm not. You have any? I just went through trying to ship a giant piece of cardboard and plastic yesterday. Do you have any idea how much it would cost to ship that thing, even though it weighs nothing? Just based on the size?
I think if you break it down, maybe.
I don't know. Then you're folding it, maybe, because those get shipped assembled.
I don't know.
But anyways, good. I am happy for DJ. I am curious as to how he's going to use it. Maybe he'll talk about it on tonight's show. Like, he's not a mint unbox guy, and like that's a perfect thing to like fill up with your elites and whatever. But I know he opens all of his figures, so I'm curious what he's going to actually do with it. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to find out about that. I don't own any fixtures like that. I've never had the need, or never felt the need, but I can see why somebody would. Like if one of my guys was on it, you know?
Next time when they put it out and there's the Alexa Bliss on it, Adam, you know what to do. You know what to do.
I do. I need more Alexa Bliss cardboard in my house.
Yes. The ones you have are so ruined.
I laminated them first.
Yeah. But that's it. Again, DJ got me my Sinestro. I almost said what Todd's gift was, but DJ getting the end cap, baby. Everybody do the same, and not just the WWE things. Like when they have like the cardboard displays, like say they have a Star Wars one, or say they have a whatever, and there's none of those figures there. Just take it home.
Yeah, I can tell you as somebody who worked in retail, when they tell you, well, we have to, that has to get sent back to like the manufacturer, the vendor, none of them get sent back. They go right in the cardboard compactor. They just tell you that you can't have it because they don't want to deal with like people asking all the time. So they want to spread the misinformation of these things are not up for grabs. So either they're going to get destroyed in the back, or they're going to get taken by an employee that already called dibs on them. You know, like for example, if some employee was to like take a sign that promoted the release of a DVD and then 20 years later sell it on eBay for hundreds of dollars, like that's the grift. You know, they're just take what you want.
So I may have to employ DJ to do this, and we'll wrap up the show here. So one of the McDonald's is around here, right? The current McDonald Happy Meal toys are these like stupid, like fucking like little mini Funko Pop things, Disney 100, some shit, right? I don't care, right? But the previous Happy Meal gimmick was Pokemon. One of the McDonald's around here, even though they're giving out the Disney stuff, they still have the signage in the window of the Pokemon stuff, right?
Okay.
Went to it a week or two ago, and my kid's like, oh, that Pokemon thing's still up, and they don't have the Pokemon stuff. We should go in there and ask for it. And I said, I can't. Look at me. If I go in there and ask for it, McDonald's is different, but if you and your mother go in and ask for it, they'll definitely give it to you guys. But the problem is, and then we have the conversation later with my wife, she's like, oh, no, I would never do that. I go, see, that's the problem. I need DJ to go to this McDonald's and just take it.
I thought you were going to say you need DJ to go to McDonald's and impersonate April.
No, just take it.
Yeah, just take it.
He's got the bug now. He's going to be known as the guy who just comes in and takes your old stock signage, right?
Yeah, it's a good bit. I like it. All right, let's get out of here, Joe.
All right, everyone, thank you very much for listening. This was episode 267. And I'll close out with this and say they officially announced the next LVAC show at Sokol's is December 29th. Friday night is the Friday after Christmas. Go check it out. It's always a great time. Wrestling's great. I'm glad they're back at Sokol's. I'm excited. I'll see everyone there. For Adams, Joe, episode 267. Be safe out there and enjoy some wrestling.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.